Oh, goodness. I know that for this episode, Mike and I are going to feel like old men.
Uh,
We are going to have to reiterate one of the base rules of being on the internet. For some reason, people constantly make this mistake over and over again as content creators, and we're going to talk about it because Lord knows this needs to be discussed. Because somebody's making a big mistake. Also, on this episode of On the Grind, we will be talking about the possibility of Kadokawa being purchased by Sony, which is a nightmare scenario. And Serena is also going to tell us about True Blood.
Yes.
Yep, so that will be fun. So, let's go ahead and get started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another episode of On the Grind. All right, folks. So before we get started, just as a heads up, who all do we have with me this week? Well, first we have our editor-in-chief, Mike.
hello.
And the young lady that will be taking us through her adventures in vampirism in True Blood,
Terrible.
Serena.
Yes.
So, yeah, terrible, but Serena gets to tell us why it's terrible. So go right ahead.
This series is basically an R-rated version of fucking Twilight on crack. Holy fuck. Let me start from the beginning. The series True Blood takes place in a fictional small town called Louisiana Bontemps. The series focused largely on a small group of cast, specifically Suki Stackhouse, played by Anna Paquin, and who becomes a telepath who's been outcasted for most of her entire life, who ends up becoming smitten by this vampire named Bill Compton, played by Stephen Moyer. We have Suki's best friends, only black female, well, one of the few black females, major characters, Tara Thornton, played by, what was this chick's name? Rutina Wesley. You got the vampire sheriff played by Eric Northman, who's probably one of the best characters in the show. And that's largely because he's played by Alexander Skarsgård, who is the brother of Bill Skarsgård, who recently starred in that shitty Crow remake and was Pennywise. That's his brother's name, Bill Skarsgård?
Yeah, he's the biggest, one of the biggest Vikings.
He was in what was that recent Viking movie that was really
The
badass?
Northman.
Yeah, the Northman, and he was awesome in it because he is a huge human.
Yeah, and plus he was also Tarzan.
A good choice.
Yeah, he was. I remember he was in the Tarzan movie and other stuff. You also have teen vampire Jessica. I'm going to get to that character in a moment because her relationships are fucking creepy. Fuck. I'm so sorry. I forgot the actor's name. I'm just going by the ones that are the most interesting to me. So you have teenage vampire Jessica, shapeshifter Sam Merlot, and a bunch of other characters surrounding Suki. And the small town that is essentially an urban fantasy world where vampires, werewolves, maenads, and other stuff, supernatural stuff, exists. The first 3 seasons of True Blood is all right. It's good. After season 3, it starts to get really fucking stupid. Especially when it comes to like character writing. So I'm going to start with some of the romances. Specifically, Jessica and Hoyt. I fucking hate their romance. I haven't finished the series yet, but I know from what people say about the ending, they get back together for some fucking reason. Now, the reason I have such an issue is because of how abusive it got in, like, what was this? season 3, it got really abusive. And it's also really creepy that, keep in mind, Jessica was made a vampire near the end of season 1 at the age of 17. Hoyt is almost fucking 30. He's 28 years old, dating a 17-year-old. Yeah, she's a vampire, but she's still 17. And you're expecting to have a healthy relationship with someone who is mentally immature, plus, the bloodthirst and lust and all that shit. I fucking hated Jessica's relationship with Jason, because it was just drama for the sake of drama, and them just sleeping together. Again, it also makes Jason look creepy that he's sleeping with a 17-year-old vampire repeatedly. These two dumb fucks literally destroyed a man mentally and emotionally to a point where they had to erase his memory of any of the events leading up to the dude almost getting himself killed by becoming a fangbanger, which is basically someone who likes to be fed on by vampires. It's basically someone who likes to fuck vampires, essentially.
Right. So how would you get this job? How would you you just go ask, or
You basically find a vampire and just hook up with them. You mainly go to Fantasia is the vampire nightclub ran by Pam and Eric. So you just go to that club and just hook up with a vampire for whatever, sex, being fed on, whatever.
So is this common then?
It's really fucking common. It was a plot point in season 1, because in season 1, women who are essentially fanbangers were dying. They were being killed. And Suki became one of the targets because she gets involved with Bill.
Who's this Bill?
He's Suki's main. He's one of the main male characters in the show. He's the one holding Suki in the picture. He's a black-haired dude with the blood going down his chin, holding Suki.
Okay.
Suki is just a dumb fuck. Every single death that surrounds this woman is because she did not take someone's advice and stay the fuck out of supernatural business. Yes, I know she's half fairy. But if someone tells you, do not get involved with vampire business, you can get yourself killed. This dumb bitch going full girl boss, thinking that, oh, I'm a strong, independent woman with the power of light on my side. Lo and behold, her best friend Tara gets killed. Lo and behold, her fucking boyfriend Alcide, one of the best characters. Well, not best, but he's he's kind of up there. I just didn't like how he was written in season 6. They just made him a villainous asshole with no concept of integrity out of nowhere. Some of the sex scenes in the show just comes across as fucking weird and nonsensical in later seasons.
Well, they're just there to get Anna. It's just to get Anna Paquin naked. That's it.
I mean,
yeah, it's especially it's more apparent in season 6 when they introduced the vampire fairy hybrid Warlow, which makes literally no sense how a vampire fairy hybrid can exist or how that's even possible.
I remember Warlow. He was stupid.
Yeah, I'm wait, so by extension, can that same logic? I'm thinking as I'm watching this, when they explain the whole the hybridization of vampires and other species, can that same logic apply to werewolves, shapeshifters, and other supernaturals? Can they be hybrids? Please explain that. How is that possible? They never fucking explained it. He's just a werewolf. I'm not werewolf. Fuck. He's just a vampire with fairy powers who's a daywalker. The whole thing. Yeah, the whole thing with Warlow is just fucking stupid, because this dude basically waited 6,000 years for Suki to be born instead of just finding some random fairy chick, turning her, and just being content.
Can I make a side note?
What?
How the fuck I don't know how this happened, but Stellan Skarsgård apparently is going to be like going forward evidence that being a good actor is genetic.
Who? Wait, is he another Skarsgård brother?
He is Bill Skarsgård's father. He played Bootstrap Bill in Pirates of the Caribbean. He's Eric Selvig in the MCU. He also recently played Vladimir Harkonnen in Dune and did an amazing job. And what was the name of his character in Chernobyl? I've got it here. Boris Serena. And he's amazing in Chernobyl too. Amazing actor. And 4 of his 5 sons are actors, and they're all really good.
They are blessed by the Nordic gods.
Yeah,
the Norse gods.
Like the sons that four of his sons became actors. 4 of the 5. Alexander, who is obviously in True Blood. Gustav, who is in Vikings, he plays Floki. And he's great in that. Bill Skarsgård, who has been good in just about or most shows that he's been on, and then his youngest son, Walter Skarsgård, recently became an actor as of just a few years ago, and is also very talented.
They were blessed by the Norse gods.
By Loki himself, I'm guessing.
Balder.
Jesus. Yeah, that's right. It would be Balder for performance.
Yeah, Balder. They were blessed by Balder to have amazing actors in their family.
Well, don't tell Stellan that he'll get mad. Stellan Skarsgård, as much as I love his acting, is very much a Reddit atheist.
Oh no, I wouldn't wish that on anyone.
Yeah.
So back to what I was saying. Season 6 is just dubbed because Suki's they kind of villainize Suki's parents for no reason, just making them, oh, by the way, your daughter's in this arranged marriage with this fairy vampire fucking hybrid. So instead of, taking your daughter and going on the run, the fucking father decided that would be a good idea to just kill his daughter. Mm-hmm. And after possessing Lafayette, who, by the way, Lafayette is by far the best character in the show.
He was the gay wizard, right?
He's the gay medium.
Sort of. Okay, so I was kind of right.
He plays a huge role in, I think, season 5 is when they introduced the witches into the plot. That was kind of the weakest. No, wait, that's season 4 or 5. It was one of those that introduced. I think it was 4 that introduced the witches. But yeah, that was probably one of the weakest seasons. He played he gets in a relationship with a voodoo priest by the name of Jesus. That's a whole other thing I'll get to. After her father the spirit of her father possesses Lafayette, tries to kill her. She's rescued by Warlow, and Suki, in her big brain head, decides to have sex with Warlow just because.
I mean,
it makes no sense why you would do that after something as traumatic as your parent coming from the dead trying to kill you. And this is the problem with the sex scenes in the show. It just doesn't make any fucking sense when you think about it for more than 5 minutes. It feels very like an unnatural thing for any human in a situation that they find themselves in to be doing.
Do you know what one of the producers would likely say to that? Yeah, but Anna Paquin naked.
Does it make sense in a story?
They don't care. They did not give a fuck with this show.
I mean, I'm just looking them up right now, and I'm just like, well, I can understand why they would want her naked as much as possible.
I fast forward through all the sex scenes because I was just tired at this point. Like, okay, can we get this moving? Let's go on to the next scene. Fuck.
That's what
they're trying.
Yeah. Oh goodness.
So, yeah, there's also Suki's brother, Jason Stackhouse, who's basically a man whore turned V addict turned cop later on. I'm gonna be honest, Jason's is my least favorite character because he's just like a fucking teenage boy. He does grow as the series go on, but the problem with him is that this dude cannot keep it in his pants. And in the latest season, the final season, he gets into like a forced relationship with this vampire chick named Violet. I fucking hate Violet, and I hope she dies by the end.
And bro.
She's a psychopath. She's a psychopathic vampire. She kills at the drop of a hat. She literally kills Hoyt's mother for shooting at Jessica. She was going to kill Letty Mae, Tara's mother, when she stabbed Vampire Willa. And Jason, in his infinite wisdom, like for some reason, these stack houses are just drawn to danger. And that's a plot point that gets brought up in the later season. Suki is drawn to danger. It gets called out for that repeatedly. But she still throws herself into these dangerous situations, getting the people around her killed. What else? You got Tara, who's basically just her entire character is basically broken bird with anger issues. And they just do this character dirty. Because she's also one of my favorite characters. My favorite characters are Lafayette, then Pam, especially when she's with Eric, because that's always fun. Then Tara, then Eric, and everybody else. You also have Sam Murlock, who plays a huge role in season 2. And one of his like worst plot lines was, especially when they introduced his like birth family, the Mickens. That is by far the weakest plot line because of how they handle his family, especially his brother Tommy. One of the things that pissed me off about that character was the fact that the dude is just a fucking asshole for no reason. Especially when his brother tries to help him.
Well, sometimes people are kind of like that, unfortunately.
But the thing is, they try to give him a redeemed death, despite the horrible shit Tommy had done, all because Tommy decided to shapeshift into his brother in order to take a beating for him. The dramatic death that precedes that it rings hollow when you consider the past shit Tommy has done. He tried to take advantage of Hoyt's mom. He basically raped Sam's girlfriend Luna and almost destroyed his relationship with her. Which, by the way, I fucking hated Luna because she's another like overly aggressive boss bitch. I can't stand that type of characters. He was still a slave to his fucking mother and father, who are just as shitty. I'm like, he never grows as a person. So why is this character here if all they are is just shitty for no reason? I get he came from a shitty background, but you have all these people in his life now that are trying to help him out of that. Again, the character was just like a wasted plot point that goes nowhere. I'm so glad that character's fucking dead. Mm-hmm. Another thing, Eric's weird ass relationship with his quote unquote sister, Nora. I did not like Nora. She did not contribute anything to the plot other than being a weird. Basically, she was the gateway to the plot point about vampire supremacist religion. Oh yeah, vampires have their own Jesus Christ now because reasons.
I mean,
the whole Billith plot line was just fucking stupid. It just didn't make any sense. The whole Authority plot line was just dumb because the only character in the Authority that I actually liked was fucking Roman, and he gets killed by his fucking subordinate / lover, who is also a cultist. They're called the Sanguinistas. They're basically the what was the name of that group in Vampire the Masquerade? Not the Anarchs, not the Camarilla. Fuck. Can you help me with this?
I'm looking it up.
They're not.
Not the.
Not,
okay, you're talking about not the Anarchs, not the Camarilla, but the enemy group.
Yeah, the enemy group.
Someone
they're
is yelling at the screen.
What?
Someone is yelling at the screen. What?
Oh, absolutely. Probably Mouse.
Yeah. Yeah, they're basically that. From WAD, they're the vampire supremacist group who basically hijack the authority and plan on like enacting their weird vampire supremacist. What?
The Sabbat?
Yeah, the Sabbat. They're basically this world's equivalent of the Sabbat. They somehow infiltrate. I don't know how this happened, and this makes Roman, who is the magistrate, the leader of the authority, look like a fucking idiot. If you didn't like snuff out that some of your subordinates and coworkers were actual like traitors, how did you not figure that out sooner? And then you got Bill drinking the blood of Lilith and basically becoming like a reincarnation or some shit of her. The only time this becomes like relevant is when Warlow becomes a thing in the sixth season. And after that, well, not Warlow, but the whole vampire internment camps. Like later on in the series, it's basically the end of Shiki in like season 6 and 7, where humans just get tired of vampire shit and just rise up against them.
Which is genuinely how it would go down, because there's a lot of us.
Yes.
And like the whole concept of vampires wanting equal rights with humans is just retarded.
You guys.
Like,
No.
like when you think about the concept, why would you want equal rights with your steak? Micah, when you look at a juicy steak, do you think, I want this cow to have the same rights as me?
Fuck no.
So I'm like, if we humans are the food source, why the fuck would we want the same rights as our predator species? As our predators? That's suicide. And oh my god, this pissed me off, is when they introduced his future wife, Nicole, who is like a part of this vampire activist group. They're fucking retarded. This bitch, literally, this is what set me off a bit. She tries to compare interracial relationships and black people's struggle to what vampires are going through.
This is spicy.
You are comparing vampires, a predator species, monsters, to black people.
It's spicy as hell. I love this. This is terrible.
This character is a biracial girl who Sam, for some reason, this is what made me like lose interest in Sam's character. This is right after Sam lost Luna, his last girlfriend. For some reason, Sam, after rescuing Nicole, and this is what I mean by I have so many issues with the sex in the show, because it just doesn't make sense. This chick literally just saw Nicole. She literally just saw her friends and her boyfriend get killed by werewolves. She was almost killed by werewolf herself. Luckily, Sam saved her. A couple of scenes later, the two are having sex and Sam gets her knocked up. Now tell me, is that like a reasonable response to trauma, to seeing the people you've known for years get killed brutally by werewolves in front of you?
Not really, no. That doesn't quite get me get the juices flowing for me personally.
This is what I mean by the sex scenes just being like fucking random and just placed in for the sake of placing it in. Like the show later on feels like softcore porn. I do not believe these characters should be together. And the fact that Sam thought it was a good idea to have sex with a traumatized girl just makes him look like even more of an asshole. And now this girl is pregnant in like the final season I'm watching. And this bitch is literally talking sense. She literally just got kidnapped by a group of Hep V vampires. Now, if you don't know what Hep V is essentially vampire hepatitis. It's deadly. It's going to inevitably kill them in a couple of months. It's the plot point for season of the final season for season 7. This bitch literally just got kidnapped, saw people she know being eaten by these diseased vampires. And Sam, in his wisdom, keeps encouraging her to stay in bottoms. Now, the reason I have such an issue with this was because in season 2, when Marianne, the Maynard, became a thing, Sam was about to like hightail it the fuck out of bottoms. Now he's doing a 180 in the final season, encouraging his very clearly scared pregnant wife, or fiance, I should say, who is like 9 months pregnant, to stay in a place where multiple murders have happened. There are hungry vampires out there looking to feed off of humans. She almost got killed herself. But Sam being like, oh, this is our home. I grew up here. Motherfucker, you was about to abandon this home just a couple of seasons ago. What the hell? I'm like, it gets super stupid in the final season because the characters just don't feel like themselves. It feels like they're resetting back to like earlier seasons. They're regressing. You got fucking Jason cheating on, again, reverting back to his season 1 self, having sex with this fucking ancient vampire chick, the psycho vampire chick, who he, for some reason, wants to have kids with her, knowing full well she's a psychopath and is volatile. Which I'm going to be honest, that character should not have a family. He should not be married because he's too much of a man-child to handle any relationship with a female. The only like positive relationships that he had with females was his grandmother, Suki, and Tara, like non-sexual relationships.
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. Everything you've described so far basically sounds like fucking catnip for cluster B women.
It does. Like the character literally ends up, and this is right. This is between Jason and Jessica, the 17-year-old vampire. Now keep in mind, Jason's in his 30s at this point. He's in a relationship with a very volatile vampire woman. Jason, in his infinite wisdom, decides that it will be a good idea to have sex with a girl who not only is underage and a vampire, but who just saw her boyfriend getting rammed in the ass by another man and just recently broke up with him.
Based?
What? So wait, so let me get this straight. Like, you're okay with dudes having
We're fucking with you, Serena. We're just fucking with you.
I'm like,
it's just so ridiculous.
I'm just saying.
I know the ending of the series. I know that just in relationship with the poison, because we have to have, every character has to have their happy ending when their happy ending is not earned.
Right?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. We're having a laugh because of how fucking insane this all sounds.
The show should have ended with every single character leaving Bontes, because Bontes is just basically Kurozucho from Uzumaki. It's a cursed place of death.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, Tara had the right idea when she left Bontemps to go to New Orleans and hook up with her girlfriend. She should have never came back, because holy fuck do they do this character dirty. They basically turn her into a vampire against her wishes, mind you. Now keep in mind, Tara has been raped and kidnapped by a vampire dude who held her captive in season 3 by the name of Franklin. The dude literally was so delusional that he thought that Tara was in love with him. It's only with Suki's help that and her ingenuity, does she manage to escape Franklin.
Oh my
So
god.
who is an abuse, her entire character is that she's been abused by her mother and she's broken and she's just been through relationship after relationship. She's just an angry person. But when you look at her mother, who is this alcoholic pseudo religious woman, you kind of begin to understand why she acts like that. Tara plays a role in season 2 predominantly when Marianne becomes a thing, and the whole thing with Marianne, like, she's a Maenad, which is a servant of Dionysus, and her entire goal in life is to basically sacrifice herself to her god. Because reasons, I'll fucking know. So yeah, she has the entire
Yeah,
town
that was their job. So
yeah, yeah. They induce they induce madness, like decadent hedonistic madness. So the entire town just descends into chaos, and it takes Sam and Bill being the only ones to do anything to finally stop her.
yeah.
All right, Serena. You have been going on about this show for a half hour. I just want you to know that.
I know there's 7 seasons. There's a lot to go over that I can't over like
I
under
would
a
just go ahead and sum up at this point whether or not you recommend it and why.
Unless you're into stupid supernatural shit, like Anita Blake, or like a way more raunchy version of Buffy, I will kind of recommend it. But I'm like, if you want a good vampire show, I wouldn't recommend this because it's the same problem I have with when people recommend Game of Thrones to me. You have the first 3 seasons are good, and then you have everything else which is just shit.
And then just goes off a cliff.
Yeah, it just goes off a cliff. So yeah, unless you want to watch a vampire show that has sex and less brain cells than a college co-ed on PCP, give True Blood a watch and just watch how dumb it gets.
I'm just quickly looking through all the ladies here, and it's I wouldn't watch this for the plot because I don't have cluster B as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Also, Sosasuke fucking sucks, and she's an idiot. She's a danger whore who gets everyone around her killed, and the series literally has to break its back just to justify her dumbassery.
Appears to be the same problem with the books. So no.
She's the main character special because she's half fairy and her blood is irresistible to vampires. Every vampire man wants to eat and fuck her.
I mean, Pakian.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah, but I don't want to constantly see tits in my face every 5 minutes. That gets annoying.
Speak for yourself on that one.
I can't be invested in the actual plot.
Sorry. Okay, so it's safe to say Serena says don't do it. So,
unless you just watch the sex scenes on like Pornhub or something.
Some people might. You can't stop them. All right.
I got a source, and I'm not telling. Nope.
We need to move on. Okay. So we need to talk about something very stupid. So,
oh dear.
Fucking British, I swear to God. So, for those who are not in the know, there is a battle, quote unquote, going on Twitch for who has the highest sub count between Kai Cenat and the VTuber Ironmouse. It is largely a friendly rivalry between the two of them, because they couldn't be more different in regards to content and the audiences that they appeal to. But it is a fun little thing. However, there are some people that have kind of taken it a little too far, as people tend to do on the internet. And I have to say that it's kind of expected. It's gonna happen. You know, sometimes there are kind of like creator rivalries, you know, between a couple of dudes on the internet, or dudes and dudettes. And some people get a little too parasocial, and they start getting invested in the idea of fucking with other people. Then there's... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Sometimes they just use that as an excuse.
Yeah. Also true. But when all of that happens, and some people are basically doing stuff to just kind of get a, how do I put this? It's... People are just trying to get attention.
Mm-hmm.
The worst thing you could do with people like this is give them attention. So here comes the fucking Brit. So...
Dirty Welshman.
Yeah... So Serena, she's muted herself to try to get away from this conversation. You get back here.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm just muted so you guys can talk, and there's no like weird sounds on my end.
Why would there be weird sounds on your end? Stop being weird. Stop that.
I'm being weird. I live in a weird household.
But anyway,
get some help.
How long was the video that this dude released about this non-controversy?
18 minutes. And 3 seconds.
I only watched like 5 minutes of this video. I didn't watch all of it.
First off, here's my question. How did this guy get popular again?
Because of Ironmouse. His friendship with Ironmouse. And his podcast with Giggit. He knows Giggit. He's on the Trash Taste podcast.
Okay.
So that's it.
That's all. Okay. I don't know him outside of like talking with Ironmouse. That's the only purpose that's the only vector of me knowing him. This is that they are very close friends.
Yeah.
Everyone tries to ship them together, but they're close friends. That's it.
Yeah, which, I mean, good for them, you know, but it's sort of like, I've never watched any of this dude's content, and I've never really, like, heard him have an opinion that I found interesting. His opinions on Micah are just fucking retarded. Like, but then again, it's sort of like, how do I put this? It's sort of like if I tried to start doing commentary, or if you asked me to comment on what is something that I know next to nothing about? Basket weaving. Kamen Rider as well, but I know a little bit about Kamen Rider. But basket weaving. I have never weaved a basket, nor do I have anything to say that is interesting about basket weaving, nor do I have any sort of sensible opinion. I would basically just be saying shit to say shit. That's kind of what this dude is whenever Micah gets brought up. Is he just says stuff. None of it ever makes any fucking sense, because he has no fucking clue what he's talking about. He's just making it up on the spot, but because this is the internet, and a lot of popular figures on the internet feel the need to just have an opinion for the sake of having one, he throws one out, and it always sounds retarded. That's all I really know him from, is having really retarded takes on mecha as a genre. But that's because he doesn't watch it. What he watches is whatever the isekai of the month is, basically. He watches popular stuff. You know, that's what some people do.
It's okay.
But yeah, it is what it is. Some people will never go beyond shonen, or things of that nature, or whatever is popular that month. Some people will never go past it. It is what it is. You know, God bless him. If there's some stuff that's popular that's really good. One Punch Man, for example, is great. It's fantastic. Some of the best art you're ever going to find from Japan. Stupid popular.
Good reason.
Yeah. So, it's not that big of a deal. But overall point is, like, I can tell this guy is young and stupid. I hate to be an old man. I turned 39 in... God, how long? Oh... Next Wednesday. Next fucking one. God damn it. Okay. Thankfully I don't look 39. Nor do I feel 39. So I got that going for me. But I'm an old man. Like for internet standards, I have been on the internet for God, how long? 11 or 12 years, maybe? No, 14 years. That's a long time in internet time. It's a ridiculously... On the internet, that's ancient.
Oh, good lord. How long have I been fucking netborn? Goodness. I remember Discworld Mud way back when. And, oh, good lord. 4chan 2001.
I've been on the internet since I was like 7 years old.
Your brain is probably fucking blown out. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
No, it is. That's why
No,
I'm so off.
2003 was.
I'm old enough to remember when one of the most popular memes was, "This is the cancer that is killing B."
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is that?
Exactly. Nobody nowadays is going to know what the fuck I'm talking about. Mike knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
If Javier and Wayne were here, they would know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been around for a while.
Got some exploding knees to talk about.
Ah, yes. But and then there's the one of my favorite memes from my time on the internet in the early days was the marine copy pasta.
Who the hell is Shasera?
The marine copy pasta is fucking glorious. But but
What the fuck are you talking about me, you little shit? I'm top of my class.
But the point is that you can tell Connor here is not. He's a youngin. He's a little baby. He's a babby. He's making the biggest mistake that you can make that will guarantee escalation. He fed the fucking trolls.
Bro's 28. I remember being 28.
God, he is a babby.
That was terrible.
He is absolutely a babby.
He's the same age as me.
It's a terrible age. Awful.
Yeah, because you're a babby too.
Baby.
So, this, I don't hate the guy. Don't get me wrong. I just don't particularly think he's that special either. It's just one of those things where it's like, dude, I get it. I absolutely get it. It sucks to see your friends going through it. It does. It is the worst feeling. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is shut the fuck up. Because there is nobody that is bothering Ironmouse and calling her whatever they're calling her. That gives a flying fuck about your opinions of the situation. If anything, they wanted you to say something about it so they can laugh at you. Because you want to know what they're all doing? They are probably in a Discord at some place, or maybe it's guys from the farms, or maybe it's guys from the VT board, and they're getting together in some sort of chat, and they are laughing their fucking ass off at you because you gave them exactly what they wanted, and they're all saying, "Look what we got this stupid limey piece of crap to say."
We got 18 minutes and 3 seconds of him trying to white knight for this Puerto Rican mouse.
Yeah, that he's never gonna fuck. It's
I don't think
it's gonna be more.
Have sex.
Well, that they don't care because
they're friends.
Yeah, it's it's one of those things where the guys on the internet, their perspective of this, yeah, they care immensely, and on top of that, as long as they're getting a reaction and they're fucking with people and they're pissing them off, that's what they wanted to do. Because what they probably think of Ironmouse, if they are anti-VTuber, is like, look at this stupid anime demon Puerto Rican. You know, that's their opinion. And, look at this stupid, like, fucking limey white knight coming in here trying to tell people to stop. He thinks he's people! You know, that's their response. They think this is hilarious, more than likely. Is it funny? No. Like, it sucks to have shit happen to you on the internet. But when it comes right down to it, the way you handle these situations is not getting on camera and poo-pooing people on the internet as if you are someone that they feel like that they should listen to. Because the fact of the matter is that you're not their daddy, you're not their preacher, you're not their god, much as the British seem to think they are at some points. You are none of these things, Connor. You're just a dude. You're just a goofy limey that lives in Japan. That somehow is, like, collaborated with everybody who comes to Japan. It's like, now if you're a Westerner that comes to Japan, like, you have to meet this dude for some fucking reason. It's kind of hilarious. He was just binging with Babish for some reason. I'm like, what? Huh? So, it's sort of like, who let him in here? But anyway, I kid. But...
Like, bro...
here's the facts.
Why are you so mad?
Yeah. Here's the facts, my dude. And to anybody out there on the internet, here's how you handle these situations. If there is somebody that is talking to you and you don't want to have that conversation, the great thing about the internet is you don't have to fucking listen. And not only do you not have to fucking listen, you have ways of shutting them up. And I'm not telling people to, like, report people or shit like that. Not unless, like, they're breaking the law or breaking TOS. Don't do that otherwise. Don't try to cancel people. That doesn't solve anything. What you can do, if you are the person that is getting shit, you can block people, you can mute people, and move on, and you will never hear from them again. It's that simple, that easy. It is a click, and they're gone. Suddenly, silence. It's just, you have Thanos snapped them out of your personal universe. Bing, bang, boom. It's over. The only times that you really need to respond to shit like this is if people are accusing you of something that could get you in trouble. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing that you should ever respond to. And even then, ask people around you. Yeah. It's like, apologize if you fucked up.
Yeah, that's the one situation.
Yeah. Any other time, if people are accusing you of something that you didn't do, just say, I didn't do this. If people are taking you out of context, provide the context. You know, and those are the only times that you really need to respond. That's it. Don't do, because the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of people on the internet that want attention. For whatever reason. Maybe mommy didn't give them enough, maybe daddy didn't give them enough. I don't fucking know. What I do know is that what you are doing right now has guaranteed that the situation will get worse. You've guaranteed it.
They know they can just... That's your button. Right there. They're going to fucking push it. And they're going to push it harder and harder and harder until someone inevitably does something fucking stupid. I know they're going to do something fucking stupid because we've all been... Kristen Weston Chandler. That is the prime example I will throw out there. And... Oh my goodness. That bro has been tormented for 2 decades, and he has not learned the lesson.
Nope. Not at all.
Is he in prison?
He's out of prison now, and from what I understand, he's managed to knock up his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Wait, he has a fucking girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
unfortunately, I feel so sorry for the kid because every choice he has from here is a really tough one. The poor kid.
How the fuck did he manage to get a girlfriend?
Internet fame.
So some desperate bitch decided, I'm gonna go find this crazy motherfucker and have his baby, and now the child's gotta suffer.
Didn't you watch a show about a bunch of fucking cluster B narcissists
Yeah,
that throw themselves into dangerous situations, and they just keep
Yeah.
constantly doing that, knowing that it's extraordinarily dangerous, and yet they still do so, in spite of everyone warning them around them, warning them not to. I mean, I get it, but yeah, no, it's a it's. I didn't expect this to fucking tie into that review so well, but yeah, it's kind of like that. Bunch of cluster B narcissists that, unfortunately, they thrive off the negative attention.
Basically,
And
they should not be in any form of relationship. They should be alone forever.
but here's the thing with this particular scenario, and this is the why I say this. Ironmouse seems like a genuinely nice person.
oh, she's just a doll, the poor thing.
Yeah. Shouldn't have unilaterally gone to support Fruit. We already did an episode on that, why that was a stupid idea. But everybody makes, everybody does silly things. Like, it happens. She it's one of those things, like, her heart was in the right place. I get it. It's the same thing with Connor here. It's why I'm not being meaner than I am. Is your heart's in the right place, but your brain's not. Because the problem is that people know how to fuck with you now, and the way to fuck with you is to fuck with her, so you've made her a bigger target. And that's the problem. Sometimes the best thing you can do is support your friend and help them to ignore the people that don't fucking matter, than it is to try to stand up like a fucking white knight and make a big target out of it. Don't feed the trolls. Alright, let's move on to the next topic. Bluesky. Oh, Lord.
Bluesky has been experiencing an influx of people after recent events.
The recent event, the time, the date, the occurrence.
The return of the Orange Emperor.
The thing. I'll be right back. Hold up.
And so this is from The Verge. Because Serena sent this to us. Says Bluesky moves deeper into moderation hell. After days of explosive growth on the platform, the Bluesky safety team posted Friday that received 42,000 moderation reports in the preceding 24 hours, versus 360,000 in all of 2023. The team added that it's working to bring on new members and asks users to help by reporting troll spam and scam accounts. Bluesky has also implemented email verification for new signups. They just did that now, or as of the 17th. What? What the fuck are you thinking? Or were you thinking? And what's crazy is they're triaging it. Now, and what they find funny, because part of what is it in what they say is, in the past 24 hours, we have received more than 42,000 reports, an all-time high for one day. We're receiving about 3,000 reports an hour. To put them into context, in all of 2023, we received 330K. What The Verge does not say, and what Bluesky says very plainly, is we are triaging this large queue so that most of the harmful content, such as CSAM, is removed quickly. Now, for those playing the home game, CSAM...
lovely. I love
yes,
this. This is...
It stands for Child Sexual Abuse Material.
Yeah,
Child pornography, essentially.
Well, okay, so you want to avoid calling it child porn because that kind of was it like an attempt to legitimize it by
Yes.
fucking pedophiles. So to call it child
It's what
sexual
it
abuse
is.
material.
Recognizing anything is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, no. Well, yeah, sort of. You want to avoid giving the fucking pedophiles weapons. And everyone has been kind of like gotten
How is that?
you know, they've gotten comfortable with the idea of porn as a thing.
Yeah.
And so because porn has the idea of it has been softened, you kind of want to avoid letting that meld into the public consciousness as like, oh, child porn is just like any kind of porn.
No, it's not.
It is
People
not.
have the wherewithal to understand that child porn is illegal. Doesn't matter what you call it, child porn, child sexual abuse material,
Mhm.
whatever.
But what I'm trying to say is that because the term is softened, sort of like retard or racist or like any other thing, the term is softened from being overused or like being accepted. So we're trying it. You have to try and like differentiate between something that is acceptable, and it's not, to something that
Like-
is very specific. So the child sexual abuse material, and
Like, they both mean the same exact thing to most
Yep.
people.
yes, that's
Yeah, but
that's the thing.
Mike's speaking more from like a legal perspective.
This is you want to be as specific as possible, because as soon as you start softening, as soon as the terms start to soften, they're trying to cause it to soften. These maps, these fucking pedophiles, these fucking minor attracted people. Fuck them. But
It all means the same exact
Oh,
thing.
hold on. We have a button for that.
Fuck them.
Continue.
the only button, the only fucking button that they deserve. So they're trying to keep the acceptable word away from this whole thing. So it's not acceptable at all, because most sane people that hear the word child porn and be like, that's fucking disgusting, that's gross, that's everything. But then you have these fucking intellectuals on the left that are like, but porn as itself is acceptable, so therefore... Anyway, it's same thing. It's awful. That's it.
Yeah. So they are actually being honest. Kudos to them for flat out saying that, yeah, people are coming onto our platform from Twitter and posting CP. Like in CSAM, it's like Jesus. And this is like
such a coincidence.
Yeah,
That
all
it
the crazies
suddenly
leave
happened.
Twitter and then suddenly go to Bluesky, and then suddenly this happens. I wonder. It sounds like a problem over on Twitter kind of solved itself.
Right?
Why is there always children with these people?
Because they are fucked in the head. And we won't go into too much detail about this, but this is something that I'm just finding kind of interesting about the whole situation, because everybody that I see that is publicly saying I'm only going to Bluesky, or I'm only going to be on Bluesky at this point, they are either crazy people themselves,
Mm-hmm.
or people that well, unless they're doing it for business reasons, but they are either crazy people themselves, or they are friendly with a lot of crazy people.
Or they're trying to pave the way for more crazy people. Or we get it. It's they've got a real awful image problem, and it's starting to accelerate.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. All right, I'll be back again.
And when it comes right down to it, like, I think to myself, like, the fact that we have so many people that are on the internet that are actively looking to share these sorts of things makes me think that punishment for such things is far too lax or not happening enough. Because the unfortunate thing about the world that we live in right now is that there's way too much of everything at this point. Like, it's easier than ever to find porn, and it's easier than ever to get into the business of porn than ever before. It's also a lot easier to get your hands on this stuff than it ever has been before. And as a society, we don't really have, like, an answer to this. Because, the FBI in the US is already overtaxed as it is. Because, they basically are, as a law enforcement agency, have so many responsibilities, not enough staff. But the problem is that if you expand the FBI, you are effectively expanding the amount of bureaucrats in the federal government, which is also not a good thing. It is a it's a situation where a lot of these places are not taking, in my opinion, the level of punishment that they need to be taking to stop these things.
Like, I am of the opinion that like genuine pedophiles should be like dragged out in the streets behind like a truck with like a goddamn what's the word? You know, like one of those flashing advertisement screens on the back, so you get to see them being dragged. But someone would call me a fucking maniac for suggesting such a thing. So like, I'd even like take like dragging them out in the like some square and just putting a bolt in the back of the head and run in the middle of a crowd. That'd be perfect. My only solace in this that Bluesky having a moderation problem like this is that what they may be calling CSAM or CP or whatever the fuck you want to call it might be lolicon, because I know that the left has an issue with lolicon in general, and such that I kind of get squint-eyed when someone says they really okay. I don't mind people that say they don't like it, but when they single it out and they like despise it, I get kind of squint-eyed, because there's a tendency I've noticed where people who really focus on hating that like I don't care for it, like lolicon, they're usually doing it because they're trying to hide the fact that they like the more hardcore actual real stuff, and they're just trying to distract like attention from themselves. And so they will like report, like mass report people that have like anime avatars and anime porn of like fucking lows and whatnot. And I don't care for it, but it's sort of just like a personal thermostat, really, of someone like trying some sketchy shit. Like, don't look at me, look at these fucking weirdos over here who are looking at these drawings. That's where my stance is with lolicon, and I'm pretty certain this is what's happening on Bluesky, because the same situation happens at the FBI. The FBI was complaining that they were getting a bunch of reports of like child abuse and from, but it turned out that it was legal like drawings, like Japanese porn. And they were like asking people like, can you stop fucking doing this, because it's wasting our time from like finding these fuckers and denying us the privilege of like putting bullets into them.
Yeah, because that is the loophole of that stuff. You know, because it's not technically illegal because it's a drawing, and you know whether it should or shouldn't be is a whole nother thing we're not going to get into here. But that's just the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
But my whole perspective on it is that the only way to stop a problem like this is to have a hard-nosed stance. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if there's any minor involved in this, in anything sexualized, whether they are drawn or not, you are IP banned from our website. Instantly. Gone. Right now. And I honestly do think that the fact that they have had this many CSAM reports shows that there is a massive problem with this on the internet, and there's not enough of a appropriate response to it. I'm of the opinion, honestly, that if I was running Bluesky, what I would say is this: what you're going to do is you're going to archive their posts and all of their information that we can take from their IP. We are sending it right to the FBI. And then we are IP banning them from our website so they can't post anything ever again. All of them. And then if we find out that it's an IP from a different country, we send it to that country's law enforcement. And then from there, it's their job to handle it.
I think it's Interpol that handles that.
Yeah, I think so too. And they're probably not going to be happy with all of this, but they need to be enforcing the fucking law. So, there's
a big problem with it in Malaysia, where they will get like giant farms, like phone farms.
Jesus
and
Christ!
If they're not like buying selling these phones for likes, they will use some of those bot resources to forward this shit and basically flood areas with fucking abuse material, and it's terrible. I mean, fucking during Gamergate, there were so many fucking Malaysian bots, and a lot of them were tied to these porn farms, and it was gross. Ugh. The amount of reports we had to put through for so many fucking things.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
So what I would just say is, if you're out there and if you feel like you want to be on social media, avoid Bluesky. It's a very insane place right now, and Twitter is crazy. But like I said, Twitter has better ways of like dealing with crazy than really a lot of other social media spots. So, final bit of the day. It's a bit of a nightmare scenario.
One of the worst.
Yeah. Now, this is a rumor that has been put out there, but the rumor is that Sony is possibly looking to acquire Kadokawa. Now, for those of you who do not know what Kadokawa is a pretty substantial company in Japan that handles a lot of different stuff. Handles mostly like publication of manga, obviously some anime licensing, and of course they also have their hands in the world of video games. For example, when it comes to video games, they own Spike Chunsoft. Spike Chunsoft, for those if the name does not sound familiar, they created and published the first 5 Dragon Quest games. And I'll read off a few other of their big titles that have come out as time has gone on. We have here, they've actually published a decent amount with Nintendo, several Pokemon games. Let's see, what else did they do? But the big one, or the big ones, I should say, are Danganronpa, and Fire Pro Wrestling.
That's a genuine favorite of mine.
Oh yeah, Fire Pro Wrestling's a lot of fun. Especially because you can put like Tekken characters in it, and it's great.
I think I made a bunch of wrestlers from like a bunch of my friend groups, and it's a fascinatingly like amazing fucking toolkit that they give you.
Oh yeah. And the other thing to mention is that they also, Spike Chunsoft also handles distribution to Japan for several well-known Western titles, such as the Metro games, Witcher 2 and 3, Darksiders, I just said the Metro games, but I was about to say them again. Everything that Larian Studios has done, including Baldur's Gate 3, the Arc games, the Homefront games, and also Cyberpunk 2077 and Disco Elysium. So, and then there's a bunch of other games that they published that are based on anime properties. So that's one big one is Spike Chunsoft's. Another one that they own a majority stake in, basically 70%, is fucking FromSoft. I don't need to say much more about FromSoft. If you know what a Souls game is, you know who they are. And then the big thing that they have in the manga world is Kadokawa Shoten. Kadokawa Shoten, as a publishing company, they publish a couple of very specific magazines that are very popular in Japan that they do with Bandai Namco, or Sunrise rather, a Gundam Ace and New Type, which that's huge. And then on top of that, they have published the following manga: Dot Hack, Legend of the Twilight, Guyver, Blackrock Shooter, Bungo Stray Dogs, Cowboy Bebop's manga, Code Geass's manga, Dead Man Wonderland, Girls Bravo, Eureka 7, Escaflowne, High School of the Dead, let's see, what else is here? Konosuba, Kerberos Panzer Cop, shockingly, which, if that doesn't sound familiar, folks, you might also know it as, why am I forgetting the name of it?
Hellhounds?
Not Hellhounds. Jinro the Wolf Brigade.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sony would own Jinro. Let's see here. Martian Successor Nadesco, Mirai Nikki, the manga of Evangelion, Record of Lodos War, RE0, Sergeant Frog, Slayers, Tenshi Muyo, and an anime that I actually just recently reviewed, Trinity Blood. They would have the publishing rights to all of that manga. All of it. On top of, there are video games that were developed and published under Kadokawa's manga, under Kadokawa Shoten, including the Lunar games, Lollipop Chainsaw, and Killer is Dead.
So as you can hear, it's genuine royalty if they can get all these IPs under their belts.
Yeah.
And a lot of negotiation ability. A lot. An absurd amount.
Yes. So, Sony getting their hands on this is a nightmare scenario for a lot of people. Because these days, Sony America has a lot more influence on what Sony is doing than Sony Japan. Including censorship in the West. Now, am I of the opinion that everything that they do is going to be just suddenly censored? Like, for those of you who are Code Geass fans, suddenly women's cockpits are going to be normal like the men's? I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case.
No, no.
The one thing that I do expect is that a lot of their IPs are going to get squatted on, and don't expect any reprints anytime soon. Because they're too risky.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these, the anime that Kadokawa has their hands in will be exclusive to Crunchyroll. You can stream it and that's it. The ability to buy the ability to buy physical will get squatted on. And Sony will have a majority stake, a vast majority stake in FromSoft, meaning that more than likely every FromSoft game will probably be a PlayStation exclusive going forward.
And as a result, they'll probably end up losing the fucking source code like they did with Bloodborne, with the destruction of Japan Studio.
Yep.
It should not be this easy to lose a fucking source code IP.
It really shouldn't. And there's been a lot of Japanese games that have happened that they've lost the source code because they just weren't. It wasn't a common thing to save it back in the day. They didn't. Nobody in Japan, except for like maybe Kojima, because he's a goddamn wizard, anticipated the HD era. Which admittedly Kojima was an early adopter, because Kojima's a goddamn wizard. The funny thing about all of this, to me, is that of all the nightmare scenarios that I kind of expect to happen on occasion, this was not one of them that I saw on my 2024 bingo card. But
Sony suddenly gaining control of like all the Japanese royalty that everyone recognizes like at a heartbeat.
Yeah, like you look at all of those franchises I mentioned. Look at how many of them are absolute fucking bangers of stories, you know. And like, let's be honest. Do any of us trust them to do a reprint of Kerberos Panzer Cop if Sony's California division has anything to say about it? Fuck no. That's never happening.
No, they IP hoard specifically so that way they can use it as assets for loans, and then they use these assets as essentially collateral for more loans, so that way they can improve their bottom line. Or in the worst case scenario, like with Concord, they use the dispersion of assets as tax write-offs. And that is an absolute fucking terror of a circumstance to me, is that they use any of these fucking projects, any of them, as a fucking tax write-off. And I know these fucking cunts might. Ugh. What an awful scenario.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing of like if Sony was being run by other people, this wouldn't seem as much like a nightmare. Though in my opinion, it just like them having control of that many franchises is you know, in most scenarios is kind of frightening. But these are like the people that run fucking Sony right now. If you strapped them to chairs and showed them pictures of the Repentia from 40K, they would lose their fucking minds.
I love mostly naked women that want to go kill themselves in the most productive way possible, using nothing but a eviscerator and some faith.
Yeah.
But would they appeal to like the modern day audience? No. I don't know why they keep trying to appeal to the modern day audience, considering they didn't show up for Concord, they didn't show up for last couple of fucking flops. I don't think they're Dustborn. They didn't show up for Dustborn. They didn't show up for Concord. They're not going to show up for Assassin's Creed, the new Assassin's Creed. I can tell you that.
They sure didn't show up for Veilguard.
Not showing up for Veilguard. they turned such a unique property into a queer ditzy fucking dating sim. They didn't show up, and it's just gonna. I swear to God, they just. It seems like they're doing this on purpose, just so they can get tax write-off, and it's awful. I hate it. God, makes me depressed thinking of it. Thankfully, though, it seems like a bunch of investors are realizing that this is bullshit, and we really shouldn't be trying to make all our money using nothing but tax write-offs. And as a result, they're punishing these corporations that actively do this over and over and over again. But I don't know how much more it's going to take, and I swear to God, if they get Kadokawa to do this exact same scenario, the EA method, as it were. God, hate this. Depressing. Just tax write-off after tax write-off, and people will be like, "Oh, but this is capitalism. What do you expect?" No, this is corporatism, and it's chaps my ass. Chaps everyone's ass by proxy.
Pretty much. Goodness.
What a horrible night to have a brain.
Yes.
Pretty much. Well, talk about ending the episode on a downer. Because I have nothing else to say about that. But hopefully it doesn't happen.
I sincerely hope it doesn't.
Remember, folks, do not try to give vampires civil rights. They will fucking abuse it and try to kill you and enslave you or rape you.
Yeah, vampires are not people, and if they ask for rights, the answer to that request should come at muzzle velocity.
At minimum, I would suggest laws. Not like the ones bureaucrats write that got us to this situation. No, I'm talking like light anti-tank weapons. Fill them with fucking silver powder. Do whatever you need.
The villagers in Shiki were right. They were justified.
I have another idea that might be more entertaining. We find a way to make an interdimensional portal to physical worlds, or to fictional worlds rather.
Uh-oh.
And we go grab the Black Templars from 40K and just say, "Get them."
Ah.
That would be fun to watch.
That'd be so satisfying.
Just a bunch of 8.5-foot men stomping around and murdering vampires. It would be so effective.
And their blood whores.
Blood whores?
Yeah. They would purge all of them. It'd be great.
Blood whores, fame bangers, take your pick. Someone who allows vampires to feed on them.
Oh, right. So, as I was saying before, how do you get that job? Do you just like go up to them and ask for them, or just, just set up and be like, hey, I want my blood sucked.
You just roll up into dress in goth gear, find a vampire man or woman to like hook up with, and just go down the fucking bathroom.
So do I get a choice in who I get to go get hooked up with, or
Yeah, you get a choice.
Okay.
But again, you're playing roulette with your life.
I can live with that, or die with that, I guess.
All right, folks. Just remember, do not give in to the heresy. Ever.
Vampires. And don't fuck.
But to the last thing to leave us with before we sign off for the week is that there is good news on the comic book front with Grindstone Arts. So actually, two bits of good news. First is that Black Rhapsody has hit over 100 signups on the mailing list.
Yeah.
That is for book number 2. And the second thing is that Inglewood Book 2, we just placed an order yesterday for all of the physical books. So, for those of you who have been waiting for your physical books, I apologize for the long wait. But if you get a notification that your contribution has been shipped here in probably the next month or two, that is legit. That is real. You are getting your book, and I cannot wait to send them all out to you guys. In fact, you won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to hear it when I do this. That is the cardboard boxes that we are shipping the box tiers in. It is very much big enough to fit several comic books, T-shirts, the whole 9 yards in. So I am super fucking stoked to get it out to you guys. And since we did have success with this box tier, we're going to continue to do it in the future for a lot of our campaigns. Because we also had a lot of success with it with the Cyberpop campaign as well. So, all right, folks. We appreciate all of you for stopping by, hanging out with us. Also, remember, if you enjoy the podcast, please leave a review on your podcast network of choice. Whether you're listening to us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever, it helps us grow. And we are still looking to grow, to say the least, to get more people listening to this goofy as hell show of ours. So, for Serena and Mike, I appreciate all of you guys for hanging out. My name is Micah Curtis, the president, CEO, co-owner, whatever, of Grindstone Arts. Have yourselves a great rest of your week.
Frick.